Most of us are familiar with the term peer pressure, but for the ones who don't know the meaning, peer pressure is the influence from members of one's peer group, and most of the time it affects one in a negative way. It is the reason when we think our good sides as a mistake. If we can defend and express our ideas, this shows that we can deal with the pressure on ourselves. Everybody around the world has ideas, but sometimes they cannot express themselves because of others' reaction. Not all ideas has to be correct, because we as teenagers are learning from our mistakes. And in order to learn from our mistakes, we have to do the mistake first. And peer pressure is what limits this. Did you know that 90% of the world's population has faced with peer pressure, and only 28% of them were able to boost their social status after giving up with it? Some of the negative effects of peer pressure can be counted as pressure to use drug, alcohol, cigarettes, distraction from schoolwork, distance between existing friends and family, and drastic changes in behavior. If we live as other people want us to live, then we are not going to be emotionally and mentally strong individuals. If we learn how to deal with the pressure on ourselves, then feelings such as belonging to someone, increased self-confidence, and introduction to new hobbies and attitudes will occur and help us achieve our goals and future plans. Throughout our life, we face with peer pressure for a lot of time. This is the reason where we learn from our mistake and become successful individuals. What I mean about successful individuals is not great, but it's about how we live and see the world. I was in 8th grade when I changed my school. It was a different experience, different people, different students, different friends, different building, different culture and tradition. So generally, this was a different experience for me. And throughout that time, my fluency in English language was not that good as well. Because of my fluency, I faced with a lot of peer pressure and bullying. But on front of you, I would like to thank to all of my friends who have done these things to me, because it helped me so much to develop myself. Maybe that is one of the reasons why I'm up here giving speech to you all. Also, during my middle and high school years, I became friends with people who criticize the way how I live and my behavior. Their comments on my life made me think about hours of my character, and I didn't even notice that I had to get rid of them. They were bad for me. But thanks to them, they showed their original face after some point, which made me reconsider my friendships with them. With their lies, they were able to connect themselves with me. But after spending some years and seeing their original face, I left them and I changed the way how I think. And since that time, I developed myself in so many areas. Some areas in hobbies, friends, and most importantly, I had a new social life. This basically proved that I didn't belong to them and I had more opportunities when I left them. When I turn back and take a look at them, I can see how weak they were, and they were always behind me. The reason why they were criticizing me was their weaknesses and their tries to go forward me. Throughout our life, we will face with these people again, maybe become friends with them. But always we have to keep our old experiences in our mind, so we can understand how people will act in future. The main reason for me to become social and mentally improved as individual is to understand how these people will act in the future and make my future plans based on that. The reason why I explain this topic is to remind you that each of you is a successful individual, but you have to get rid of these people who hurt you emotionally, pulls you down, and pushes you down far away from your goals. If you do this, you will have the motivation to do anything. There is also another pressure type that I would like to talk over here, which is family pressure. Us teenagers during our school years are facing with family pressure for a lot of time. The pressure is mostly concerned about how we will live and how we are living, also about future plans. The parents wants to limit their children so many times because they don't want their children to have some bad behavior. But limiting them will make them not understand their mistake, not making mistakes, and this will create the emotionally weak children. These emotionally weak children will create an unskilled generation with their way of living and with their way of acting. These will impact the world in a very negative way after a couple of years. So, before finishing my speech, I would like to conclude my words like this. So, no matter what you believe, what you do, who you are, the world needs each of you for a better future. Get rid of these people who hurt you emotionally and take life lessons and become more social by the life lessons that you're taking. Because these things are going to be the things which will satisfy and motivate you in the end. Thank you so much.